I just finished 5 sparring rounds with a 6'6", 1FC heavyweight fighter. My gosh, it is so much harder to fight somebody when they have an extra 80 pounds on you and they have that extra reach advantage. I'm sure everybody here knows it. So today I'm going to give you 3 things in particular you can work on if you're used to sparring people who either have longer arms or that massive height advantage over you. It was Jeff Chan who told me when he was here, Gabriel, you need to go out and you need to make more sparring videos. People like them. So I did that. I did that today. I went, okay, I'm gonna call up somebody who's somewhat local, who has something that we can do that's really exciting, and somebody who's a 1FC fighter, plus a heavyweight 1FC fighter, plus somebody who significantly dwarfs me. I went, people are gonna love that. That is coming out Tuesday. Full 5 rounds, so you can just watch them in their entirety. I'll show you everything I did wrong, things I did right. But for today, we're just gonna keep rolling on this idea of, okay, you have somebody who's not similar size, but much, much taller than you. Probably about there is pretty equivalent, I would say. No, that's not even enough. But we're gonna do that for the sake of this episode. Okay, we've got somebody who's a whole lot taller. What are 3 basic things that you can be doing that I'm not necessarily gonna be doing in these sparring videos? Because with my defense feeling so solid, I don't even mind putting my hands up and just walking forward and eating some shots to give some shots. That's not what I would suggest for most people out there. Of course, we want to be smarter. So the very first thing, and I was just teaching this today to my teenager class, I was saying, guys, we have to know how to drop the head off the center line and at the same time punch. Now, in particular, when I was sparring with this heavyweight 1FC fighter, I was having more success getting my head off the center line and coming with the long overhand. So that's what I want to show you first. You're standing here, you're going, shoot, I can't reach him, but he can reach me. Or I'm here and he just can't reach me and he's gonna push forward and try and jab. What am I looking to do? Because I was finding normally what I teach is head drops off the center line and I jab. But the thing is, if he's able to touch me here and I can't touch him, I'm just hitting air. So what I ended up doing was I would time his jab, slip to the inside, take a step and throw that overhand. That one was working nicely for me. Just standing here waiting for the jab. As soon as you take that step, your head automatically moves anyway. It's not like you need to go, okay, drop the head to the side. Take the step and you just have to time that step with their jab. So you see them coming, boom. And what I do there is I bring my head off the center line, but I also close the distance because before I couldn't land, but now I can land. And the harder they push themselves forward, the more likely they are to just run into that shot. And even with the size discrepancy, they can still get hurt because I'm moving forward, they're moving forward, boom. That overhand all of a sudden becomes a major power shot. The next thing as the shorter fighter that you can be looking to do is to fake with your legs to then get to punch range. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, if we decide, okay, we're gonna fake from the outside with punches, normally that's great. But from here, there's a potential that this guy can even eat me up with the punches as I'm faking. So I decide, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. Now from here, I start faking, but he can still land kicks because they're that much bigger. So again, I go, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. And all of a sudden, I'm faking from so ridiculously far that sliding forward feels like I have to cover so much distance. It feels unrealistic against the taller fighter, but I still go, I want to throw fakes. What can I do? Well, one of the easiest ways to cover distance is to fake off the legs. In particular, off the front leg, I find. If I fake off the back leg and I come something like this, I feel like, oh, I get jammed up on my standing leg. But to lift my lead leg and then just slide forward, I find that one is very easy from this ridiculously far distance to close distance and to now land at some sort of punch range. I have 2 particular shots that I like to do off the front kick slide. Number 1 is I just pick this leg up and I just fall to the jab. That's it. I keep my hands very high, come here, boom. Now that's not a whole bunch of damage, but it does allow me to get to my range and then start following up and land a nice combo. Or we go back to that overhand, which I think is a very successful shot to throw as a shorter fighter. We come from here, we step out off that center line again, one, boom. And I think that is a great setup. To cover distance, keep yourself very safe, and stay outside that range, which you might normally fake at. We need to be further back. Pump that leg up, and then go on the attack. And it could even be pump the leg up and come to the kick. Pump the leg up, come to a knee. It doesn't matter, but that one is great. It's great for covering enormous range. The last tactic that I want you to consider is using the lead foot defensively. But here's the thing, here's where most people struggle. They go, okay, I'm against a taller fighter, therefore I want to be a lot more mobile. Mobility in footwork does not mean here. It means getting very bouncy, moving around. But once I start doing this, picking up that lead leg is not realistic. The front kick is not great off that lead side when my weight is 50-50 and I'm bouncing. This defensive teep is better for when I'm standing stationary with most of the weight on my back foot and I'm tapping that leg out. Now, we need to consider two things. Number one, as soon as you start going stationary, yes, you are going to be more vulnerable to those attacks, right? Your defense needs to be on point, but you are standing here, you are crunched in, you're keeping your hands high, and when they walk in, boom, you hit them before they can punch you. Okay, unless this guy is like 7 foot, he cannot outrange me on my front kick. So having that defensive front kick is imperative. But the other thing to consider is if this guy is so tall or if they're that much bigger than us, sometimes we end up front kicking and we get knocked back ourselves. That is why it's so important to do your defensive front kicks correctly. What does that mean? It means the heel does not elevate when I front kick. You'll see even high-level UFC fighters throw front kicks like this, and it's fine when you're on the offense, but if you're on the defense and somebody's moving into you and you elevate, you're going to get knocked backwards. So you want to have your head just shifted a little bit further forward than the back leg, this foot flat, and then when they run at you, boom, and then because your weight is shifted very slightly forward, you have this leg to take all that momentum that's coming through your body and plant into the back foot. So that defensive front kick is imperative as long as you're doing it correctly. If you can add the correct motion in, then all of a sudden, yes, you have something which makes them very threatened, very scared of it, and then that moves even better into our fake, which we talked about before. So there are 3 techniques which you can use as the shorter fighter against somebody who outreaches you or is that much taller. Tuesday, you're gonna have a chance to check out the footage and see if I use these against this 1FC heavyweight.